Okay folks, I'm back. Now like I was saying about the markout towns, if you will, what I mean by that is I had to shut the door there. Check on the animals in here. But what I was talking about by the markout towns, if you're going to start a face turn or slowly transition your most over heel diva or divish or female heel in Vickie Guerrero, if you're going to slowly transition her to face, if that's the direction you're going in, then the best place probably is not Philadelphia. I mean, let's face facts. I'm not trying to be rude towards the internet community, the IWC or the YWC. You guys have a right to your opinions on who you like and who you don't like, and how you feel about one person, how you feel about another person, and in the case of some people, what event you feel is better than the other event. So you guys have that right and everything, but the thing is, you people on the East Coast probably know this better than anybody. You in the Midwest, and some portions of the Midwest, and mainly portions of the Northeast and all that. You guys probably know this better than anybody. You know, the East, Northeast, whatever, Southeast, whatever. You kind of get the idea. You guys know this better than anything. That if you're that, even in the South itself, portions of the West and the Midwest are the same way. No doubt about that. But the thing is, when you have WWE holding an event, whether it's a Raw, a SmackDown, or a pay-per-view in any of those regions, whether they be Philadelphia-based, New York, Brooklyn-based, Atlanta-based, Chicago-based, doesn't matter. If you're WWE and you're holding one of your shows or one of your pay-per-views in basically the internet markout, in one of those internet smart markout towns, internet smart marks towns, if you will, then you better be ready for the reaction you're going to get, and you better probably plan better, and you better hold off on certain ideas or plans until you get to a town that's in the middle. I mean, basically, in TLC in Brooklyn and in Philadelphia, you're basically showcasing, you're basically holding your biggest events in two of the biggest IWC markets out there. I'm not lying. And if you're going to do that, you need to do something with your superstars and divas that are not going to get over with these people. And what do you do with them? Well, here's what you do. You either have them go promote something so they're not there and they don't get in trouble, or what you do, you have the babyface, let's say a John Cena or a Sheamus, come out and say, hey, I know a lot of you here in such and such town don't like me, but hey, I'm gonna, don't like me, but hey, I'm myself, but hey, that's me, that's who I am, you can like me, you can boo me all you want, but I'm not gonna change or anything, blah, blah, blah. Or at least let them acknowledge that. But again, when it comes to transitions like babyface turns or heel turns, you got to make sure, in my opinion, you do it in the right vicinity, in the right area. And I'm not saying Philadelphia isn't a great place to do it, because it is, and we've seen some things happen there, seeing some face and heel turns in that region before, and not just with WWE. We've seen it with WCW. We've seen them with TNA, we've seen them with Ring of Honor, we've seen them with ECW, CZW, the list goes on. So we've seen it in that region, and they've had a history of that. Same with Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York, the Northeast region. But basically what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to take someone that is basically your most over heel, diva-wise, and slowly transition her to face, it's probably best that you don't. It's probably best that you don't do it. It's probably best that you don't do it in a place like Philadelphia or even Brooklyn, New York. It's probably best that you wait till you get someplace else. Like, if you're going to be, let's say, in the Midwest or the Mid-South or the Southwest or whatever you want to call it, in what you could consider a unbiased or mixed wrestling community town, then that would probably be the best place to do it. For example, I'll throw a city out there, Dallas, Texas, home of the WCCW, but would be but from what I've seen, is more embraceable of WWE than anything else. I've seen it. They are embraceable of WWE. Phoenix, Arizona is the same way. Reno, Las Vegas, San Francisco, Sacramento. You got your internet smart marks in those areas too, but the thing is, they're more right down the middle and more understanding of like, okay, John Cena's the good guy, we know he's the good guy, this is the bad guy. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I seem to notice a difference that the fans in those areas outnumber the smart marks. So even if you have a smart mark there, and they're chanting certain things or booing certain people, it gets overshadowed from what you see from the other reactions. And to me, again, if I'm WWE and I'm going to slowly take my most hated diva in Vicky Guerrero and turn her face to slowly transition her there, I should do it in another region, in another place. So, for example, let's say if Raw would have been in Dallas, Texas, just for example, Dallas, Texas, or even San Antonio, and you did the Slammies there, then being in Texas probably would have been the better option, because which is closer to El Paso? Exactly. And what wrestling family is associated with El Paso? That's right, the Guerreros. So I think it would have been better if they would have held off on doing this until they got close to a region that is, basically close to the El Paso region or some kind of region like that, to where Vicky's face turn in her reactions and her reactions and everything towards Dolph and AJ could be cheered. I'm not lying, and I think a lot of people know that. But again, I'm not trying to be rude, because like I said, everybody's got a right to what they want to say. If they want to cheer somebody, or they want to boo them, they want to say that's better than this, then go ahead. That's your right, that's your opinion. But I'm just saying that what WWE needs to do is, if they're going to do something like this with, let's say, Vicky Guerrero, then they need to do it in an area where you're not going to have an overwhelming arena of smart marks. Believe me, you're not. Because if you do it like they did tonight in Philadelphia, then the reaction you want to slowly get is not going to be there. I mean, heck, TLC, Brooklyn, New York, Raw, Philadelphia, Ziggler, and AJ got more of the babyface pops than than John Cena, Sheamus, and hell, even the internet darling, as people like to call him, CM Punk, could ever get. And it's all because these are internet marked communities, internet marked cities. And WWE, I know they know this, and I know they want to give the internet marks what they want, but the thing is, I think they also know that they need they need to do certain. I think they also know that if they're going to do something like this, they need to do it in areas to where they won't get such a negative response. I'm not lying about it. I mean, you don't think the superstars and the divas of the WWE don't know this? You mean, come on. You don't think, let's say Big Show, I mean, he acknowledged that, hey, he basically said, hey, I'll sit down in this big-ass chair until you guys stop chatting boring. You know, or something like that. You don't think Paul White, the Big Show, doesn't go backstage and think, man, or think to himself, man, you know, we gotta do, if we're gonna do something like this again, we need to do it in a non-biased, non-internet smart mark town. Or something like that. You don't think he and other superstars and divas feel that way? I mean, think about AJ. AJ probably thinking, you know, man, I'm supposed to get over as a heel. I'm supposed to be booed out of the building, and yet I'm still being cheered. Same with Dolph. What do you think he's thinking? You think they like that? No. I mean, yeah, they don't mind, you know, the embracing of the fans that are like, yeah, you should do it. We want you. They know from a business standpoint that that's not how things work. Or when it comes to WWE, it doesn't work that way, folks. It doesn't, and they know this. And that's why I feel if you're going to if WWE Creative is firmly behind, if they're firmly behind this Vicky Guerrero face turn and are slowly transitioning to it, they need to do a better job of transitioning towards it than having it start in one of the most marked out internet IWC cities in the world. You need to work better at that. And I'm sure the fans in Philadelphia and Brooklyn, New York would agree. I'm pretty sure you guys would say like, yeah, you know, if you don't want us on your backside, then do something like this, not in our vicinity. Do it probably outside of the vicinity, because you know how we'll react. But again, overall, Monday Night Raw was very good. I mean, like I said, it was great to see the return of Ric Flair, Triple H, the Legends, JR, Ricky Steamboat, Mean Gene. It was great to see the New Age Outlaws. It was great to see the Boogeyman. I didn't even know he was going to be there, and that surprised me. And that was fun. I was happy to see that. It was nice to see. It was nice to see how they showcased the Shield, especially with the backstage attack on Dreamer, who I was also glad to see again tonight. Glad to see him back, even for one night. But the attack on Dreamer. I like how that was showcased. So some people say it's the old Attitude Era-ish Nitro NWO kind of attack. You know, and it was good to see Big E Langston. You know, because if you're going to bring someone in like Big E Langston, who, like I said in the first video, basically has that it factor, has that look and that it factor, and you're going to have him start off his official WWE career on the big levels against John Cena, then it shows you got a lot of faith in the guy if you're going to do that. Again, overall, great Raw. I'll give it maybe a 9 out of 10 because it was pretty good. One of the best ways to end up in WWE to end its year when it's one of the last Raws. So that's all I'm going to say. You know, it looks like they're going to have Cena try to cost Ziggler his Money in the Bank cash-ins. But overall, besides that, great Raw. That's all I'm going to say about it. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry this was in 2 parts, and I'll talk to y'all later.